What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of whatever this is. I'm going to take a look at a game today called Black. And it came out on the Xbox and PlayStation 2 back in, wait for it, 2006. February of 2006, making, as of this recording, this game 20 years old. So real quick, the Xbox version had one thing different from the PS2 version that I know of, and it's in the sound setup options. And there's right here a custom soundtrack option. I don't know, say you rip the Armageddon soundtrack for some reason, and you don't want to miss a thing, you can select that as a background music for this game and play through if you want. Okay, so the story is told, yes, this game is a story, through these cutscenes, or live action cutscenes, as you can see. They're pretty well produced, well edited. They're not bad as far as acting and whatnot, but the problem is, I don't really care about them, and I don't really want to just get to the shooting, so the real drag on this game is that the first time through, these are unskippable, and some of them are multiple minutes long, and you are just kind of sitting there, come on, hurry up, let me get to the game. So once you beat it, you can skip them. So this game was heavily inspired by action, like Hollywood action scenes. So you can't, for example, just like open the door. There's no actual functionality to open the door manually. You have to blow it open with a shotgun, or a rocket launcher, or a grenade. So here's a first example of the game's gimmick. This car right here, you notice my cursor, that little dot right there, that turns from white to black, very coincidentally. As soon as I shoot it, whole thing goes up and kills the guy next to it. So that's the gimmick, that's the game. You're literally just going around blowing stuff up, and you know it can be blown up because that cursor turns black. Sometimes it takes multiple shots. Okay, so a couple of the other main criticisms this game received. First of all, the controls are kind of heavy feeling, so like when you're moving around, you feel kind of like a tank. The aiming sensitivity is not customizable at all. You cannot select or change the speed with which you turn, and that is a big knock against it. That's something you have to really get used to. Another thing is, obviously, when I'm shooting these guys with an AK-47 here, there's no blood. And that's kind of weird. It is an M-rated game. I'm not sure why. I'm sure that the F-bomb drops a few times throughout, so it's pretty set in its ways as an M-rated game. But for whatever reason, they decided no blood, so okay. I think people are expecting like dismemberment and stuff like that, where you're throwing guys, you know, grenades at guys and stuff like this here. Say I throw a grenade, it lands next to him, he just kind of flies forward and just face plants. And that's it. No gruesome gore here, sorry. See, but one of the cool things is the destructibility. The the levels themselves have a lot of, yeah, they're scripted. They're kind of like Legos where they're just kind of stacked on top of each other, like Jenga pieces or something. But, you know, it lends itself to the feeling of like a war zone, and it does feel a lot more chaotic than a lot of games at the time. I do love you can shoot the grenades after you throw them. That wasn't exactly new at the time, but it's a big part of this game. Of course, if you haven't noticed by now, because I keep yapping, but the sound effects are a huge part of this game as well. The exaggerated sounds of the guns. Some of the best sounding guns I've ever heard in a game to date. 20 years on, and it still sounds great. I love the Uzi in particular. Let me turn that up so we can hear it a little better. Blow himself up.
RPG in the tower, 12 o'clock. Take out the reinforcements.
Whoa. So you might notice that the enemies drop health packs. But you also pick up health packs. And if you look in the upper left corner here, right up there, then you'll see 3+ signs, and those are kind of a stock that you're keeping. And at any moment, I can just... Here they are right here on the ground. So I can use one by pressing down on the D-pad and fill up my health. And then it frees up a slot, and I can come grab another one here. Now, that's only on the normal difficulty. If you're playing on hard or hardest, I think it is, you can only heal yourself with the health packs that the enemies drop. And there is a reward for beating the game in those difficulties, but it is a challenge. It is not super easy to go through some of these levels. Love that.
Moving to intercept. You will hold your position, Bravo.
Now you can see here, like this little folder or whatever this is on the wall here. These are your secondary objectives. Throughout the level, you might have noticed earlier, I blew up like a laptop. It's funny, they're just kind of sitting in like empty rooms. Nothing in this levels or in these levels are really populated. You'll never find furniture or anything in these areas. But you pick this up just by walking up to it, and that's 2 out of 3 intel objectives. So you can find and track them by hitting back, I think, yeah, and it'll show you like how many of each objectives you've completed. Now on normal difficulty, I'm only supposed to collect 1 secondary objective in order to move on to the next level. As you progress on harder difficulties, you have to collect more secondary objectives to complete the level. You could just gun your way through the level completely successfully, but if you don't complete enough of these secondary missions, it'll actually fail you and make you do it all over again. So that's how the game is progressed through. There's no bosses. It's literally just the missions that you were assigned. You actually have to find those items and collect them. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to a later level that has a ton of those explosive set pieces built into it. And this is a level that really showcases that part of the game. So right out of the gate, you got yourself a big truck full of barrels. These guys just chilling next to one right here. Got a sniper up here. You can see how quickly your health can deplete too. Like I said, it's no joke, and this is on normal difficulty, so I'm just getting destroyed right now. On harder difficulties, it is much quicker. You cannot just stand out in the open like I am right now. Thought I killed you. Guess I have not. And also on the harder difficulties, like I mentioned, these little white health packs are the only ones you get. Those are the ones that enemies drop, and they only heal you a little bit. So it can be quite challenging. Another criticism of the game is that the enemies are really bullet spongy, and yeah, it's just to encourage you to aim for the head, because like I've shown you before, just a single headshot takes them out. But it's a valid criticism. Okay, so there's tons of mines laying around here. You can see them right there on the ground. So if you just shoot one of them and it's close enough to another one, set off a chain reaction. And if enemies are close enough to them, they can help you out. This is a good example of how a headshot can just take an enemy out. Single shot. So.
Bravo 3, detonate the mines with your weapon before advancing.
Well, what a novel concept. Oh, that's a bad place to stand. That's an even worse place to stand. He's not even there anymore. There it goes. Oh, that's a bad place to stand too. So one thing I really appreciate about this game is it has a very solid frame rate. It runs at a very solid 30 frames a second. I can't think of a time where it dips, honestly. Criterion had it down. Their renderware engine is very adept at cross-platform development, so this game runs very smoothly. Open the door with the grenade, because why not? Pick up the intel, because the intel is just laying there and is grenade proof. Where is that coming from? Oh, he's over there. Hello.
I got an RPG.
So I'm gonna take this out, and that initiates a chain reaction and helps me. Go down the stairs. Hey. Oh, hello. Where'd you come from?
This is 2-1. Hostiles advancing on your location. I will provide sniper overwatch on your advance.
Oh.
Enemy down!
Hello. So I got Sniper up there helping me out. So, that's nice. So here's another good area with a lot of scripted explosions. So like this here. That's cool. Here's one.
Above you, above you!
Below you, below you.
They're everywhere. I need support.
He was like, oh crap. Okay, so then here there's a magnum. Just open the door. Alrighty. See how this magnum performs here. What we got? Oh, hey there. Like it knocks him off his feet. Alright. There's some intel right there on the wall. Sure, why not? That's usually where it's kept. The reload animations I haven't even touched on yet. You notice the fake depth of field that happens whenever you're staring at your ammo or whatever it is during the reload process. So like if I go to reload here, the background there gets temporarily blurred as I'm reloading the gun. Interesting. You've also got these fake post-process effects, like you got fake God rays and things like that right here. You can see some. The little cube map reflections coming off the glass. But you see the little God rays coming through right there. Not actually doing anything. I think they're just like textures, but it's cool. Again, the glass. I love the glass effects. So when you get like a huge explosion going off and the glass just shatters en masse, it sounds really cool. That was awesome.
I do not have a clear line of sight. I say again, I do not
Oh,
have
he's
a
like
clear line
tumbling.
of sight. I
That was
cannot
cool.
cover your advance. Over.
So the ragdolls in this are weird because they, like this guy here, you can see he's kind of frozen in this like rigor mortis looking weird position. They animate to a certain point and then they freeze. So sometimes you'll have guys stuck like in midair, kind of like in a weird contorted pose. So what's weird about this game is it came out after the Xbox 360 had already launched. The Xbox 360 came out in November 2005, if you remember. This game came out in February of 2006 for the original Xbox. And this did not come out for the Xbox 360. There were a lot of cross-platform games, Burnout Revenge even, came out from Criterion, and this was not one of them. So this did not get a 360 version. I'm actually sad about that, to a degree. I think it probably would have just been the same game with a ton of bloom, like Burnout Revenge was. But it would have been cool to see it in native 720p. It is playable via backward compatibility on the Xbox Series consoles, and it does upscale to 4K. It does look quite nice in 4K. I'm playing at 480p on the original Xbox just for personal tastes, but yeah. I don't know if you can still buy it. I assume you can on the Xbox store. I'm not sure. I didn't look into that, but it's not very expensive. Yeah, a lot of cool, interesting little things about this game just because of its timing when it came out. And yeah, I think it was reviewed pretty favorably at the time, but it wasn't considered like a classic or anything. And over the years, I think it's kind of gained like a cult following. Oh, this is one of the cooler moments here. Watch this. Oh, look at that. That whole thing turns black. That whole thing I just walked around. Say goodbye. So what's funny about that is I'm pretty sure it just got replaced with like a really tiny model of the thing that I walked around earlier. So it's not actually like a dramatic explosion happening, but in fact it looks like it's this massive mushroom cloud coming out of this thing. And then it just slowly dissipates. Here's the P90, so for all you Counter-Strike fans out there, where the P90's kind of a piece of crap. They actually make it somewhat awesome in this game. And it's mostly down to the sound effects. I think it shoots 9mm bullets, which is, you know. But, it sure sounds powerful.
This is 3. I'm taking out hard targets in the area. We'll advise further if necessary. Out.
So one other thing I haven't pointed out is there's 2 reload speeds in this game. When you're like out on your own and you're not around an enemy, you reload very slowly, and that reload that I just did happens in the middle of a battle. So they kind of knew that people would get pissed off if you're just kind of sitting there showboating and just kind of glaring at your ammo and, you know, drawing out the animation in the middle of a gunfight. And then say you get killed just because you took too long to reload, yeah, that would be a bad look. So they have 2 different speeds of reloads, which is nice. P90 time! Yeah, there's some of those fake god rays. can see, like, passing in front of them does nothing. But, you know, just giving a little bit of an effect. It's funny how low res they are. You can see all the all the pixelation in them and whatnot. Okay, so my mission is to destroy these things. 2 of 3. The last one's right here. 3 of 3, alright.
Lighten it up, stand by.
Now I gotta get back across the room, and that's the end of this level. And I think that's gonna do it for this video. So this should give you a good idea of what Black was about.
Bravo 3, target neutralized, exiting building, hold fire.
This is basically the rest of the game. It just kind of rinses and repeats, and if you think it's cool, looks like fun, then definitely give it a shot, because it is... I think it holds up fantastically well. It is, it's not very complex, and that, I think, works in its favor, because it doesn't try to do too much, and what it does do, it does very well, and that is a very important thing. Know your lane and stay in it. Alright. As soon as I walk out here, we're done. That's going to do it for this video. If you want more Black, there's a game that came out years later called Body Count on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It's not great, unfortunately, but it is a spiritual successor from the same, I believe, creative director. So check that out if you want to, but just be aware it's not quite as good and a little different. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel so you can see more, and clicking the notification bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and as always, till next time.